Sister Mary had always been a good and faithful nun. In her 60s, she had spent many years as the principal of St. James Catholic Elementary School in Los Angeles. She was well-liked and trusted, known for being calm and caring. But beneath her peaceful, religious life, Sister Mary had a secret: she really loved to gamble. It started small, with a few scratch-off tickets now and then, just for fun. But soon, it became much more than that. Sister Mary became addicted. She couldn't resist the excitement of poker, the thrill of blackjack, and the bright lights of the casinos. The problem was, as a nun, she had taken a vow of poverty. She wasn't supposed to have extra money, only enough for the basics. But the law of gambling made her forget all about that vow. That didn't stop her. Sister Mary made a choice, and it was a dangerous one. She came up with a secret plan, one that was not only dishonest but also illegal. She decided to steal money from the very school she had spent years running. And she did it quietly, in a way that no one would notice. She opened several hidden bank accounts, all in the school's name, so it would look like the money was still being used for school business. But instead of paying for books or classroom supplies, Sister Mary began putting students' tuition checks straight into those secret accounts. At first, she didn't take much, just a little here and there. Maybe a few $100s at a time. But as the months passed, and no one questioned her, she grew bolder. She started stealing more and more, until she had taken tens of thousands of dollars. It was shockingly easy. She was the principal, and everyone trusted her. Parents believed she was using their money to support their children's education. Teachers thought she was managing the school's funds wisely. But behind closed doors, Sister Mary was doing the exact opposite. And no one suspected a thing. After all, she was an older nun who had dedicated her life to God and children. Who would ever think she was stealing? But Sister Mary wasn't doing this alone. She had a close friend, Sister Chang, who also worked at the school as a teacher. They lived together as roommates, and they were very close. When Sister Mary told her about the scheme, Sister Chang got involved too. The two of them became partners in crime. And once the money started rolling in, they wasted no time spending it. They took trips to Las Vegas, enjoying the flashy casinos and the high-stakes games. They had weekend getaways in Lake Tahoe, staying in fancy hotels and living the good life. Every dollar they spent came from the pockets of hard-working parents and the tuition paid for children's education. But to them, it didn't matter. They were hooked on the lifestyle and on the rush of gambling. Picture this: two nuns, dressed in their black and white habits, sitting calmly at a poker table in a loud, smoky casino. They looked out of place, like they had taken a wrong turn on the way to church. But they weren't lost. These women were there on purpose, and they were good at what they did. The people around them had no idea that these sweet-looking nuns were using stolen money to feed their gambling addiction. Every chip they bet, every hand they played, was funded by the hard-earned tuition money of trusting parents. But gambling wasn't the only way they spent the stolen cash. Sister Mary and Sister Chang began living a life far from what you'd expect of women who had taken vows of poverty. They charged thousands of dollars to credit cards and quietly paid it off with money stolen from the school. They left behind the simple church housing and moved into a comfortable home in a gated neighborhood, safe, private, and expensive. And they didn't stop there. Each of them bought a brand new Volvo, sleek and shiny, the kind of car most teachers or nuns couldn't even dream of affording. At first, no one questioned it. But over time, people began to whisper. Parents started to notice that the sisters were always traveling. Weekend trips, long holidays, frequent visits to places like Las Vegas. It didn't seem to match the life of two nuns working at a small Catholic school. Then there was Sister Mary's poker skills. Every time the school held a fundraiser poker night, she would win, often by a landslide. It became a running joke, but behind that joke, some parents started to feel uneasy. Some even asked quietly, "Where are they getting the money for all this?" That's when Sister Chang would give a simple answer: "Oh, I have a rich uncle. He helps us out." It was easy to believe. The sisters were older, trusted, and always polite. Most people didn't want to think badly of them. So they smiled, nodded, and accepted the story, never realizing just how far the truth really was from what they were being told. At the same time, Sister Mary was the one in charge of all the school's money. She handled the budgets, decided what the school could spend money on, and had full access to every bank account. There was no one double-checking her work or looking over her shoulder. Everyone believed she was doing the right thing. I mean, who would ever think that a sweet, elderly nun would lie or steal? It just didn't seem possible. So people trusted her completely. And that trust is exactly what allowed Sister Mary and Sister Chang to keep their secret going for years. They were smart about it. They didn't make a big scene. They acted normal, showing up to work, leading prayers, teaching students, and smiling at parents. But behind the scenes, they were stealing from the very people they claimed to serve. The school itself wasn't wealthy. In fact, it often struggled. There were times when the classrooms needed new textbooks, or the kids needed new sports uniforms, or something as simple as shade for the lunch area so children wouldn't have to eat in the hot sun. But when parents asked for help with these things, Sister Mary would just shake her head and say the school didn't have the money. She said it with such seriousness that no one questioned her. Parents even dug deeper into their pockets, donating more money, hoping to help the school and the students. They thought they were doing the right thing, helping out a struggling Catholic school. But the truth was, that money wasn't going to the children. It was paying for Vegas trips, casino chips, luxury cars, and weekend getaways. Sister Mary was stealing from the very people who trusted her most, all while pretending everything was fine. But then, in 2018, everything changed. Out of nowhere, Sister Mary and Sister Chang announced that they were both retiring. After years of quietly taking money, they suddenly stopped. No more strange transactions. No more missing tuition checks. It was like someone had flipped a switch. The two nuns even put down a $7,000 deposit on a nice 3-bedroom townhouse, planning to spend their retirement years living together in comfort. It all seemed a little too perfect. Here's the thing, though, when someone in Sister Mary's position leaves a job, especially one involving money, it's normal for a financial review to take place. It's just basic procedure, a way to make sure everything is in order before the next person takes over. And that's when the cracks in their story started to show. The review was ordered by Monsignor Michael Myers, the church official in charge of overseeing the school. And right around the same time, a parent asked the school for a copy of an old tuition check. Sounds like no big deal, right? But when the staff pulled up the record, they noticed something strange. That check hadn't gone into the school's regular bank account, it had been deposited somewhere else entirely. A different account. That was a huge red flag. The school staff immediately became concerned. They started looking more closely, and Sister Mary realized what was happening. She knew the truth was about to come out, so she panicked. She tried to cover her tracks. She quietly asked other staff members to change financial records, to delete files, to erase any signs of what she had done. But it was already too late. The damage had been done, and the paper trail was there. The secret she and Sister Chang had hidden for so long was finally starting to unravel. The school knew things were serious, so they brought in a forensic auditor, someone whose job is to dig deep into financial records and find out if money has been stolen. This expert went through all the school's bank accounts, payments, and paperwork. What they found was shocking. At least $500,000 had been taken. And that was just what they could confirm. The theft might have gone back even further, but some of the older records were gone or too hard to trace. Still, the amount they found was enough to prove that something very wrong had happened. But instead of going straight to the police, the church tried to keep things quiet. They didn't want to make a big scene. They were more worried about protecting the church's image and the reputations of Sister Mary and Sister Chang than getting justice. So they said they would deal with it privately, behind closed doors. No charges, no arrests, just a quiet retirement and a promise that it wouldn't happen again. When the parents found out about this, they were outraged. These were the same parents who had paid their hard-earned money for tuition, who had donated extra during fundraisers, who believed they were helping their children get a better education. Now they were being told that two nuns had stolen their money, and that no one was going to be punished for it? That didn't sit right. The parents demanded justice. They spoke up, they complained, and they refused to let the matter be swept under the rug. Their pressure worked. Eventually, the police were called in. Then the FBI got involved. And even the IRS joined the investigation, looking into tax fraud and other possible crimes. The case quickly grew into a major legal matter. It didn't take long before both Sister Mary and Sister Chang were officially arrested. Their quiet scheme had finally come crashing down. In the end, Sister Mary took a plea deal. She admitted to what she had done and was sentenced to 1 year in prison. Just 1 year, for stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from a school full of children. As for Sister Chang, things played out differently. For reasons that were never fully explained, the charges against her were dropped. Some people believe that Sister Mary took the fall on purpose. Maybe she wanted to protect her best friend, her longtime roommate. Maybe she thought it was the least she could do after everything they had been through together. By the time it was all said and done, the total amount stolen was over $835,000. That's nearly $1 million, money that was meant for kids' education, school supplies, lunches, and basic needs. Sister Mary and Sister Chang, two women who had once devoted their lives to the church and to helping children, had used that money to fund their secret lives full of casinos, road trips, fancy houses, and shiny new cars. In the end, the most unexpected people can do the most unbelievable things, especially when money and addiction are involved. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more true crime stories like this.